Looking for a high-end, top-of-the-line, never-tried-before gin? Well, look no further. The Perfume Tree Gin from Hong Kong is just that. Let's check it out. Hi guys, and welcome to High on Gin. A couple of months ago, I was chatting with Kenneth and Mikkel from ginbotanicals.dk, a Danish webshop, and our chat landed on the subject of what's your favorite gin at the moment. And Mikkel was very clear that Perfume Tree Gin had given him the biggest wow moment in a long time. You see, ginbotanicals.dk had managed to get a few bottles to Denmark, which hadn't been easy, but the hard work turned out to be worth every invested hour. He was so insisting on this gin being something truly unique that I had to buy one of the few bottles that they had. So on a Sunday, me, my good gin buddy, Mike Laursen and Gin Boutique got together online and did the tasting. And boy was Mikkel right. This is one of those moments where you realize that you're getting something truly unique, so fragrant, so exotic, so delicate, so very well balanced. And if you, as I, didn't know the gin or the story behind it, let me give you a brief overview. You see, the gin is made in Hong Kong, as I said, by the two friends, Kit Cheng and Joseph Cheng. Hong Kong has always been the center of different cultures, the gateway to the East and the West, where traders and trades from every corner of the world meets. In fact, Hong Kong translates quite literally from Cantonese as fragrant harbor because of its rich history of trading fragrant goods like spices, incense, and perfume and tea. You see, Kit and Joseph wanted to pay homage to this magnificent place and use spirit as a canvas to showcase the amazing flavors of Hong Kong. And boy, did they do just that. First, they combined 8, more classic gin botanicals to give the good base to the gin. You know, they used juniper or an orris root, they used licorice root, they used coriander seed, lemon peel, green cardamom, cinnamon, and some grapefruit peel. You know, this very good foundation with a good variety of earthy, spicy, and citrusy flavors. And then they used 5 very unusual local botanicals. Firstly, they used white champaca flowers. And white champaca tree is nicknamed Perfume Tree for its elegant fragrance. These trees were once found all over Hong Kong. As they use fresh flowers from the tree, they had to overcome the fact that the flower starts to wilt once they are picked and left in room temperature. It took them a year to find a reliable supplier that could deliver quality and the quantity of these organic flowers. They need around 20 flowers for each bottle of Perfume Tree Gin. The second ingredient, the second unusual local ingredient, is sandalwood. As I stated earlier, Hong Kong has been the port town for centuries and a place of trade for spices and fragrant goods from all over the world, and this includes Indian sandalwood. If you visit temples in Hong Kong today, they're filled with the scent of this ingredient. Sandalwood that gives this kind of woody, creamy, as well as earthy, rich and exotic element to the gin is a rare ingredient in gin, but can be found in other gins like the MGC from Australia and Neiman Dry Gin from Germany, just to name a couple of examples. The third local ingredient is something as crazy as 15-year-old aged tangerine peel. Traditionally, aged tangerine peels was made to infuse wine in China, but this is the first time that it has been used to infuse a gin or use in a gin. And as a footnote, 15 years are not the oldest tangerine peels that you can get. Some store them even longer, but 15 years is supposed to be the right age to get the right taste according to the local supplier. The bitterness of the tangerine peels have been softened just right by this long aging process, leaving only the sweet citrus flavors that has become a traditional seasoning in the southern parts of China. The fourth ingredient is Longjin green tea. This tea is also known as the Dragon Well tea and had been brought in from the Shifeng Mountains, where it was harvested in a very small time slot in April. This green tea is very fragrant and has this sweet and rounded texture or flavor to it. It is one of the most famous green teas in China and once only reserved for the empress. And depending on the grade of the tea, it can be pretty expensive. And as the fifth ingredient in this one, they use Chinese angelica. Well, we all know angelica in gin as this earthy, woody, musky, piney flavor that binds the gin's different botanicals together. But the Chinese version have, according to the distillery, a more distinctive, warm, earthy, and licorice note to it, and a longer aftertaste with a hint of these Chinese herbal aromas. As far as I understand it, the cost and the bureaucracy of establishing your own distillery in Hong Kong is so overwhelming that they do the botanical sourcings locally, and then they fly them all to Verden in Holland, and only the flavor extraction of the white champaca flowers is done in Hong Kong and then brought to Holland. And here they distill the gin with the guys from iStill. They bottle the gin in Holland using bottles that comes in from France, and then they fly it all back to Hong Kong where they do the hand labeling. Quite a process, but worth every bit of it. And just look at this label here. It is so beautiful, don't you think? It's so simple, it's very calming, artistic, full of symbols and writings that I don't understand, but it forms this beautiful watercolor tree. What a design and what an impression it makes. The label design is done by a local artist that on Instagram goes under the name of Sell Words. No wonder why this one here has been awarded Best Label Design by World Gin Awards in 2020. Well, enough about the talk. Now to the gin. Wow. Simply wow. When you smell it, it's so different. It is so intense. It's almost like a perfume. You know, all these exotic floral notes, almost like there is jasmine in it. And then combined with this sweet tangerine. And then the woody, tobacco-y, sandalwood flavors. This is unlike any gin that I have ever smelled. It is simply wow. Wow. The taste is just as fragrant and aromatic as the smell. It's just like drinking a high-class perfume. I know it sounds awful, but it's meant in the best possible way. The juniper and the angelica gives the gin a more defined body. It has some extra spiciness to the taste as when you smell it. It has this, slight dryness to it and a very long aftertaste. But still, the fragrant, flowery note is so present. A gin like this, it really reminds me of the most expensive perfumes that you can find in a store. If you ever smelled one of these very exotic, very expensive perfumes, you probably wondered why they are so much more complex and intense and powerful than the regular ones. You know, and meant, again, in the best possible way. It's the same here. As a good perfume, this gin has so many different layers, the top notes and the middle notes and the base note, just like a perfect perfume. Honestly, this is probably one of the most interesting gins I have in my collection. And as you can see, I have quite a few. Well, how to serve this? Well, this gin have, a huge impression on any cocktails that you would make. Or make a classic gin and tonic, of course, maybe with an Indian tonic, a fragrant Negroni, or a wonderful Martinez. They have several suggestions on their website, perfumegin.hk. Go and have a look. And after I did my little research about the gin, I saw that my good vlog colleagues, the Ginfluencers UK, did a similar test. And here Scott gave it at 11 points out of 10. And I couldn't agree more. If you don't know these guys, I'll put a link up here so you can check them out. Scott, I totally agree with you. A top 10 interesting gin in my collection as well. So guys, there you have it. If you want to try an amazing gin, ginboutiquing.dk should get some bottles again in September 2021. It is probably not gonna be the cheapest of gin, but I will guarantee you it will be worth every penny if you are, again, in for a wow flowery moment. Until next time.